Ciao ragazzi, welcome to JSG podcast. Hello and greetings to all Bianconera families around the world. Welcome back to JSG podcast channel. The podcast channel brought to you by Juventus Club of Singapore. For today, the new episode number 23. We have a new special guest, Juventus Clubs of UAE, or well known as Juventus Club of United Arab Emirates. But before I introduce you to the next guest, let me shout out to all subscribers. Your likes, the video you share, or even your comments is very much appreciated. So, without further delay, let's start the show. Ciao Juventini, welcome back to JSG Podcast. For today, the episode number 23, we have a new special guest. All the way from Dubai, from Juventus Club, United Arab Emirates, we have Ali in the house. Ali, welcome to JSG Podcast.
Hello. Thank you, Skander. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Okay, as a tradition for the past episode, the viewers would like to know when does it start, how you became a Juventini. So you might share to the viewers the story of how you become a Bianconero.
On a personal level, or on a club level, or what
On
happened with the club?
personal level, then we will touch into the Juventus club.
On a personal level, I think it all started back in the day when you would read news. My father would get me like those news magazines and sports magazines to just power my English, to better my English. As you know, we're Arab here. And at the time, it was all the talk was about this rising talent of Alessandro Del Piero. And he had that look. He had the number 10, which is like Captain Tsubasa, you know, like the cartoon, the children's cartoon. And so you just started reading. I was first a fan of the Italian national team, and then eventually you look at the black and white, and you just fall in love. Then you go to the shopping mall, and you find at the time there was no malls; it was more shopping centers and small shops. And so I got my first jersey back in 1997, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, after the Champions League that we won in 1996.
Yes. Since then, I've been a collector. So almost every year, I get one or two jerseys.
So
Now I'm getting three and four with the way it's going
never
commercially.
visit the Alliance Stadium.
Yes.
So how
I've watched.
your experience there? And
2016 was my first experience there. It was Juve Bayern München.
oh wow.
2-2, the 2-2 game when Dybala and Sturaro scored the first and the equalizer. And I had like great vision because I was sitting more on like not on the left end, but more on the half of the pitch. So I was able to see Dybala's goal and then Sturaro's equalizer. But then since then, it's been just an annual thing. We go with some friends here from Dubai. We've sent also fans to watch Juventus in Doha, in Riyadh, and in Jeddah for the Super Cup games. So we also organized that here for the fans.
It's nice. So how about the establishment of the Juventus Club UAE? How does it happen?
So it was back in 2011 by a group of 3-4 Juventini. I don't want to name all of them. I try to name. It was the late, may his soul rest in peace, Silvio Cattaneo, alongside Fabrizio Polisi, Mohamed Al Amasi, and two others. I'm not sure of the names. But since then, we just started having gatherings. We had huge gatherings. UV Inter had around 160 people show up. Barcelona final, Berlin final had around 200. And then the Real Madrid final had around 180 people show up. And we were like literally sitting all over the place, all over each other. So since then, we've been consistent. We have a football team.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
For the fan club, we have a social activity, and then we formed a family. We formed a huge lot of friends who care for each other. If someone loses a job, we're
Yeah.
always helping them out.
Good.
So it's a very nice atmosphere that we have here. Multi nationalities. I think we have around 60 or 70 nationalities in the fan club.
Wow, this is amazing. So, as I would say, what's the next goal for the Juventus Club of UAE? What's their main goal to establish the club?
So we've had multiple goals throughout the years. We've hosted David Trezeguet, we've hosted Edgar Davids over the past 3-4 years. Obviously, we had someone lined up March last year, but then the pandemic happened and we couldn't have people come over. We've hit multiple milestones. We've participated. We partner alongside the Juventus Academy that is headed by Fabrizio Polisi,
Yeah.
and we always work close together to make sure that the brand of Juventus is strong in the UAE. And this has been going really well. It's part of the project. It's part of what we like to do on a constant basis. The next step is probably dependent on what happens with the pandemic.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we're probably when the stadiums return and when travel returns, we're going to have one big trip that we will align with Juventus directly on to send 30, 40, 50 travelers with a full-on Torino experience, and then maybe some experience around Italy.
But are you shocked to know that there are laws of Juventini in your country that time when you
Again,
are you shocked to know that there are lots of Juventini in your country when you
no,
the club?
no, not really, not really. Juventus has always been a club to look forward to. I even recall the days prior to 2006, the rise of Barcelona and the damned Calciopoli. I never used to hear the name Barcelona or people supporting Barcelona. It was you're either a fan of Serie A, literally the fan of the three clubs in Italy, Real Madrid or Bayern Munchen. Beyond that, it was very like small individuals who would support anything other than Juventus. From my school days, I used to know a lot of people who support Juventus. They're still my friends till this day. And there's a big showing. We have a span of across the world. Everyone knows us in the UAE. Everyone knows about us.
Yeah.
Not everyone's a member because of personal preferences, but because some people choose to do the J1897 instead of it, but it's the same basically.
So, do you have any, how to say, a fan base, for example, for all Juventini that's going to watch the match, that permanent place, or you guys will jump to places to watch the match?
We have multiple partners in the UAE. So we partner with those restaurants. We partner with multiple restaurants, bars, cafes, lounges, whatever it is, whatever the offering is. We just make sure that at the end of the day, the match experience, that the screen is good, the volume is going to be good. Second is we make sure to always provide value as a membership benefit. As if you are a holder of the card, you get 20, 25. The minimum we do with the restaurants is around 15%. Some offer us 25%. Some offer us a set menu for a very cheap price, and so we just keep on going with multiple places here and there.
So, in the event when Juventini around the world who would like to go to Dubai and watch the match with all the Juventini out there, so they could text you or email to the club. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they can reach us on social media. They can reach us on our WhatsApp number. Our WhatsApp number has 1897 as the last four digits, which is the year of founding Juve. Social media, email. Even if they submit on the Juventus website an inquiry about the United Arab Emirates Club, it will come directly to us. We will then respond. Due to the pandemic, there has been a lot of closures. We can't stay late, and sometimes the game is at midnight. At midnight here, and a lot of the shops have to close by midnight.
Oh.
So what we did, there was this guy coming from the US the other day, coming from New York, Italian American guy, and I just told him, you know what, come over to my house. We'll watch the game. And yeah, we left him with a few presents from the official fan club.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Okay, now let's go into deep about the matches that have been played, that is going to play maybe tomorrow soon. What? How do you feel? Still have that disappointment about the exit of the Champions League against Porto?
Of course, the disappointment will never go. The disappointment will never go until you begin the new cycle. Again, until you begin the next season, until you begin playing, you'll start trying to be like, okay, I don't want to go back to that. What happened with Porto? I just wanna start. And I think a little bit of the hopes went up once we ended up first of the group, top of the group with Barcelona in it. That wasn't an easy mission. Coming back 3-0 at the Camp Nou, a lot of people thought they just wanted the game to be a draw, and they were willing to see which tough opponent we face next. Apparently, it was Porto that was going to
But
be the tough opponent and the opponent that would kick us out. Now I'm thinking about it more logically. I'm thinking of me as a person. At first, it was of course emotional. I was angry. I couldn't sleep. Now you just have time to think and realign your own thoughts.
but if your opinion when you see about the match, what really happens with the squad? Are they would say pay too much respect to Porto, or are they overconfident that they can make it? Or what happened really?
I think the first game was that we were overconfident. Yes, the first game was that let's try to do this with the least amount of effort.
Yeah.
We're traveling. We want to win, obviously, but let's do it with the least amount of effort. And we were careless, and that was obvious with the goals we conceded.
Yes.
But then the second game, no, we came in with respect. We came in to do what we did, but we were wasteful. We had a few players that were having an off day, you can say, not their best days. And when something wants to go wrong, like bad things come in threes, they say. So players underperformed. The fans aren't there to push you forward. Some calls were here and there, although there was a red card that went your way. But it wasn't just your day. You could have tried going in for another half an hour to
Yeah.
score, and it wasn't working. You 29 chances, you only scored 2. 19 corners, you only scored 1, and those are your 3 goals. Your forwards were unable to score, unfortunately. Plus the fact that Porto played a very defensive form of Portuguese football. Portuguese football is defensive, but this was a very, very defensive form in which it was a 6-3-1 formation, closing down the line, and we were forced to play one style of play, which is try to play the ball behind on the sides, behind the wing backs, or a little bit of the long ball. So they played their game very well, down to them. Tactically, it is a form of tactic. It's ugly. It's not nice. No one likes it.
Yeah.
Parking the bus, but it is a form of football. You have to accept it like you accept winning, losing, and any other aspect of the game.
They are so, how to say, people, maybe the style of Juventus, people already knows how they play, because like we will already, how to say, notice that we will attack on the flank every time that we gonna pass on the flank, that they going to capture us or kill us on the flank, that because we don't have any talent or maybe a good playmaker to support the forward. So now there are lots of media, lots of people talking. Would you agree that it's because of the individual player that we lost the match?
No, no, it's a collective effort. Again, I said this on the number one Juventus Arabic podcast, Radio Bianconero. I said that when you lose as a team. Just like when you win, you win as a team.
Yes.
You don't come and say you take out an individual. The team Juventus won, so it means that your management did something right, your coach did something right, and the players on the pitch did something right. When you lose, I don't know why there's a tendency to always find someone who is a scapegoat, someone you want to go and put the blame on, oh, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, oh, it's the players, oh, it's the management who didn't provide midfielders, oh, it's the inexperienced coach. No, no. This is something you leave to them. At the end of the day, we should differentiate between fans,
Yes.
and actual people who are involved. You're not going to love the club more than Andrea Agnelli, who owns the club, who has money from
Yeah.
his personal bank accounts in the club. You're not gonna love him more than or be more involved than he is. That's the reality of the case. Let's not lie to ourselves and say, but this could. Yes, a lot of things could have been done better, but then we shouldn't try to just blame it on one. We have this culture, the fans, of trying to get to one person. I'll move away from Juventus, for example, for 1 second, and I'll tell you now, Liverpool are suffering in the Premier League, and you have people saying, it's on that injury that happened to Virgil van Dijk against Everton.
Yeah.
But that can be a contributing factor. But what happened else is kind of the domino effect. But it's not the one-time contribution. Now people are calling for Klopp. He has nothing more to add. Or the management, they were not able to provide Klopp with decent substitutes. Although we know, for example, they put Demiral. They wanted Demiral from Juventus.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you have to learn how to lose gracefully and as a team, as one unit.
So now people, like lots of fans will be asking, is the squad it's mentally ready to win the Champions League, mentally ready to win the Scudetto? Is it good? This is the squad that we have now. Is quality or good enough to win a trophy like Scudetto or Champions League?
To win the Scudetto, maybe. To win the Champions League on paper, not 100%. Yes and no at the same time. I'll tell you why yes and no. Because for the majority of the time, I'll give Liverpool again as another example.
Yeah.
Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Fabinho were considered, I'm not going to say Class B players, but they were not considered to be the top in their positions. Jordan Henderson had a lot of issues. Some of the Liverpool fans wanted Jordan Henderson out. Wijnaldum, Barcelona tried to get him in the summer. He's made a name for himself. And Fabinho, who came from Monaco, if I'm not mistaken, but he played for Monaco. So what I'm saying is that they were not the best midfielders. They did not have. But what Liverpool did is fill the gaps. The no in why Juventus cannot win the Champions League is that because we have gaps. We have clear gaps.
Yeah.
You can't go to a Champions League game with two forwards. This is one of the issues. You can't go to the Champions League game with only one player who can do the combining plane, which is Ramsey. And we know Ramsey is not performing to his best ability. You're missing Paulo Dybala. So it's a yes and no. And this season, to be very frank, and we have to be very honest, we cannot really hold anyone accountable this season. This season has caused major clubs like Real Madrid to not sign any player. Look at you and other major clubs in the world. Look at Juventus and look at Barcelona. They're out of the Champions League just like you are.
Yeah.
They're not top of the table, just like you are.
Yeah.
Look at Real Madrid. They're suffering with injuries, with bad form in the league. And there is a chance that they will be knocked out by Atalanta. They don't have a really good home record coming back from a win, by the way, with Zinedine Zidane. So, all those factors, if Real Madrid leave now, does that mean, what will that show you? It will show you that some teams, especially mid-tier or mid-table teams, are more prepared because they already have an emptier schedule than you do. But the moment that you have a game every 3 or 4 days,
true.
It is only natural. They're not playing it on an amateur level. You can play football every day in your life, but you're not playing it on a level where you do 11, 10 to 12 kilometers a game, where mentally you have to be focused, where you are training physically every day. They aren't machines. It's not like a game of FIFA where you can start next game. So there are many contributing factors to what happened to Juventus, and I can't take this season as a measurement, or even last season leaving going out to Lyon. So we have to be fair as well. We have to take all the factors into the equation. You can't go and sue someone without having all your facts.
Yes.
Or you can't put an argument, or you can't solve a math problem without going through the steps. You're talking about a team who had 44 injuries throughout the year. You're talking about a team that is tired mentally, physically, emotionally. in every single aspect, because every 3-4 days they still have to go back to the team. You're talking about a team with no preseason. You know, it's just one weird year that can't be the balance of Pirlo's performance. We can't really evaluate him on this performance. If anything, he's done well until now.
Yeah.
With given the circumstances, you can't also say the management didn't continue with the project, because no one can spend the same way they were spending 2 years ago. They have like Juventus on the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about 2 to 6 million per game, depending on the size of the game, of the income that has been written off.
Yes.
You multiply that by 50 games. Let's say the average is 3 million per game. You multiply that by 50 games a year. That's 150 million of revenue that you no longer have. And this is the case with other big clubs. You see, the smaller clubs, they don't really depend on the income from the games, because they sell a ticket for 5 and 10 euros. So every game for them is a loss of 500,000.
Or that we Juventini are being spoiled of winning trophy after trophy after trophy. When the time comes that we didn't win, everybody start to be haywire. Everybody start to blame this, blame that. Are we ready not to win any trophies?
We should be, because again, any team sport. I said it on a thread of tweets the other day. Any sport team will pass through a phase where they don't win any title. For example, I'll go to another sport, which I said in my tweets, which was the NBA. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls won 6 championships. Since then, Chicago Bulls have won nothing. Before Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls have won nothing. So only they pass through a good time. We have to be sure. Come on, before our first Scudetto with Antonio Conte, we had a year in Serie B, and then 5 dry years of just trying to play catch up until we got to Antonio Conte. Even when we won the league with Antonio Conte, at the beginning of the league, no one believed we could win it. Then it became second. Then it became third. Then it became suddenly 5. Then it's now 9. And we are now only used to this. You know, it's 9 years of you just winning.
Yeah.
Your brain will not comprehend, because you're prepared by default. Your brain is prepared that next year I'm going to win. If you don't win, it's okay. If you have time, if you need time to rebuild, it's okay. There is a transition now between the old guard who are going and the new players who are rising, the likes of Chiesa, De Ligt, Demiral, you know, Kulusevski. There is a new phase of players that are rising. I have to play along. I have to know that it comes at a cost. Real Madrid waited almost 14 years, 12 years without winning the Champions League, although they signed the likes of Vigo, they signed the likes of Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos. They had a great team, David Beckham. They had just any player that they wanted, Perez was able to provide at the time. Still, they would win the league, but never win the Champions League.
Yeah, it's true. I know. Okay,
in that time, there were 2 Serie A teams that won the Champions League who were spending less. Milan won 2003 and Inter won 2010, while Real Madrid stayed without a title. What does that show you? It shows you that it's not only spending. You have to pass through those dry spells to wake up.
So does it mean that we have lots of gaps to fill in? Does it mean that this is the responsibility of the chief of scout to look at players, to sign quality players? But as for now, you say, are you happy with the way that we sign the players that we have now? Or maybe is it a mistake from I would say priority of signing players that is not a Juve quality players that he bring in?
Anytime you sign a player, you take a risk. Anytime you sign a player, you take a risk. You can't say the player is quality or not until you see them and how they fit with your team. For example, We sold Pogba to Manchester United, and a lot of people say that he hasn't been the Pogba of Juventus. You know, so the expectation
Yes.
was high, but he didn't take the contributing factors. I'll give you another example. Coutinho
Yeah.
was signed from Barcelona for 150 million, 440. Dembele was signed from Dortmund. Both of them, who were supposed to be shining talents, didn't really do well. But then Coutinho, that's that same player who was bad for Barcelona, went and won the Champions League with Bayern Munchen. Perisic, who was that same bad player for Inter, went to Bayern Munchen, so they fit in the system of Bayern Munchen. The system of Bayern Munchen played and included them in an overall system. So I can't say, because I've seen Bentancur being brilliant and I've seen him being bad.
Yeah.
I've seen Rabiot be brilliant and seen him being bad. So I need to look at it as a full picture. I need to look at it as, am I playing to my players' potential?
Yeah.
The current answer is no. If I want to do attacking football, my players don't have that quality in them. My defenders can't run fast enough to track back forwards. If I want to play Italian classical football, it means Cristiano Ronaldo has to become part of the group and not a target man for all the balls to come through. So, first of all, should go back to the let's say to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And choose which style of play you want to. You want Pirlo? I as personally, I'm 100% behind Pirlo.
Yeah.
I want him to see. I want to see what he can offer next season when he has more of time to prepare. You want Pirlo to stay? Give him the tools. If he asks for player X, it's on him. If he thinks Locatelli is going to solve his midfield issues, get him Locatelli. And try to build the team. You have. It's not like it's the end of the world. It's not like this is the last Champions League ever and you're never going to play it again. No.
True.
You need to rebuild. You need to go back to doing your homework.
Okay, now if you have the opportunity, would you extend the contract of Cristiano Ronaldo? Would you?
Yes.
Extend?
Yes.
Would you extend the loan from Morata? Would you extend it?
Yes.
Are you going to bring in new striker soon?
This is what you should do.
Yeah.
This is what we try to do with Moise Kean.
Yes.
So they need backup strikers. They cannot play every single game. Morata was also doomed by some injury, then the stomach flu, then Cristiano Ronaldo at the beginning of the season had coronavirus. But every single game we were very lucky that maybe 5 games we took the 3 forwards, Dybala, Cristiano, and Morata. Beyond that, we're always taking Ake from the under 23. We're taking Portanuova from the under 23, who aren't for me there yet, or even first tier material for me to take them as substitutes. So I do need, and that's why I was in the winter transfer window. I was hoping we get Mario Mandzukic. He knows the club. He's free agent. He will not ask for much.
Yeah.
But it seems there was something in the background that couldn't be done, and the management decided not to go forward with it. He's a good rotation option. He's a good substitute, and no one knows Juventus like he does. And he plays from his heart to the team. He loves the team.
But it's sad to see him go. How Juventus treat him when he plays with his heart and plays everything for Juve. But
I don't want to blame anyone, but But if Sarri saw that Mandzukic doesn't fit his system and Emre Can don't fit his system, whether I disagree is something else. I do disagree. Emre Can should have stayed. Mandzukic should have stayed. However, when management were unable to sell Higuain, when management were unable to sell Khedira, Matuidi, that created an issue where we just needed to either sell or just start ending contracts to minimize the loss. And one of the people who, unfortunately, it happened to was Emre Can, and on a smaller level, Moise Kean, and then as well as Romero, many examples of player, Odero that we gave out. All of these players, we just tried to make that additional money. And this is the business world, because at the end of the day, you can't keep on spending. There is FFP.
Yes.
There's the reality of you can't keep on spending or investing on a losing or on a very low yield investment.
If you had the opportunity, would you start to play regularly the youth player? Because
Like,
play game after game after game, expose them.
yes, I would if I had the opportunity. Okay, there's a big word since there's a big hype around Fagioli
Yeah,
since the Allegri days.
yeah,
I need to see him play to see what the coaches saw. So, for example, against Cagliari tomorrow, I would start him. You know, Arthur is still not fully fit. He still has that knee issue. That so I would love to see him. Bentancur is away on Corona COVID infection. McKennie has a problem with his hip.
yeah,
So I would start him. But the problem is you can't depend on youngsters because none of them have been a really big spark. When I say a really big spark, is like the likes of Kylian Mbappe spark. That spark when he was 17 in Monaco gave him something huge, like Haaland.
yeah.
He from Molde to Leipzig, and he had that spark in him. You know, until now, none of the players that we have really do have that spark. Like you can see Barcelona, they played the other day. I forgot which game, and they had this player with an X in his name, very young player out of the academy. Spark, Junior Firpo, spark. Pedro when he started with Barcelona, Cuenca, all of them had that spark. Whether they play amazingly for you or they don't, I have to show them to the world because if he's not going to be Juventus material, I will sell him to Cagliari, to Genoa for 15, 20 million and make that money. But if I keep on keeping players in the dark, who am I going to sell? I'm only showing them Higuain and Khedira.
Who would you buy if you have a chance to buy a player just once, one chance to buy a player? Who would you buy?
To Juventus right now,
Yes, yeah,
if just one player, it's tough. It's tough because we don't need just one player. But if it's just one player that I have the chance to spend on, I would say Savic ahead of Pogba, Milinkovic, Savic.
to like for now the situation is if you want to buy, you need to sell because there's a lot of because of the pandemic, a lot of income is lost. There's no fans come to
Yeah.
the stadium, this and that. Who would you sell away?
Who would I sell away? Sandro.
Who?
Sandro, Alex Sandro.
Oh,
I would sell. I would sell Frabotta. Hasn't shown me anything really this season. I would start trying to lower my 30 plus players. So maybe if I'm able to secure Donnarumma, I
yeah,
would sell Stensny and keep Buffon for one more year. Ramsey for sure.
yeah, yes.
Ramsey for sure. Bernardeschi, if he gets 3 million, it's good. Sell him. You know, I've kind of lost hope in that guy. I would love to see him. I would love him to prove me wrong, and I was happy he provided 2 assists
Yeah,
3 games ago.
yes, true.
But Ramsey is not good enough. Ramsey is not Juventus caliber. If he was good at Arsenal, send him back to the Premier League. He's not Juventus caliber. And you see, there's this huge thing where Serie A players can go to the Premier League and they will shine.
Yeah.
But the same doesn't apply to players coming from the Premier League. We've given the Premier League over the past years Mohamed Salah.
Yeah. Yes,
We've
yes.
given Alice. This is only Roma. Huh? They've given Mohamed Salah and Alisson Becker. You know, Chelsea have taken Jorginho. Everton have taken Alan. Classy players coming from Serie A. On the other hand, we've taken Ramsey. But Okay, with Inter it's different because Lukaku and Sanchez and Young were passing through a bad phase in Manchester United, but all the players were playing badly, including Paul Pogba, including Eric Bailly, including Lindelof, every single player that was at United. Luke Shaw, De Gea. De Gea is now being, people are saying, you know what, we're ready to sell De Gea and keep Dean Henderson. So the whole phase of United ruined the chances of those players. It's not that they were not bad, they were not good enough for the Premier League. The whole team of Manchester United was passing through. But look at again Jorginho, Marcos Alonso with Chelsea. He's up and down, but he's playing well. You know, and the names can go on, and Cancelo, what he's doing with City.
Yes, yes.
Multiple names you can name that have come from the Serie A, but send them the other way back. If it was up to me, I would go to United, sit with them, tell them this is 50 million with Ramsey. Give me Pogba. I would take Pogba. Then I'd go to Sassolo. I'd try to get Locatelli off of them. You know, for me, this solves my issue in midfield. I have good rotation in Rabiot and Bentancur. Let's assume this is assuming that Arthur will be starting.
Yeah.
Bernardeschi, I try to keep away because I do have the subs. I have Chiesa, I have Cuadrado that can play, and then you have Douglas Costa coming back. Remember that.
But coming back and would be pushed.
You never know. You never know. If Juventus would be able to sell him for 10 million, sell him because he spent more time in the clinic than on the pitch. Rugani is coming back.
Yeah. Rumors that he will be taking the role of Chiellini as some sort of like to be the next Chiellini in the new, you would say. But
You already have the next Chiellini. Demiral is the next Chiellini.
Yeah.
You already have the next Chiellini. What you need is to again have one aligned vision. Try as beginning of the mercato, get rid. If you can't sell them within the first month of the mercato, take the loss, but don't keep them on your bills. Don't keep them on your wage bills, like we did with Khedira.
Yeah.
You know, and then open up a new page and get me those players. Because if you want to keep Cristiano Ronaldo, give him the tools.
Yeah.
If you're gonna sell him, it's a different story. You can get new tools. But if you want to keep Cristiano Ronaldo, you have to get him the tools that will allow him. Real Madrid, every game they create 20 and 30 chances. Forget the Porto game, but our average per game, Juventus, is 10 chances, 12 chances. You need to provide to Cristiano Ronaldo. You need to give him, he's the gun. Give him the ammo, give him the bullets.
Okay, but before the last question for you is this: can we? What happened in Porto? Yeah, means everyone is disappointed. The motivation of the squad is down. Can we step up against Cagliari next?
Yeah, should be. Should be. These are professionals.
Yeah.
These are we all go have and have day jobs. You can't go and say after one off day, done. I'm going to spend this whole year in bad shape. No, the next day you go to work, you try to pick yourself up. You will find people who will fight you, but you just have to overcome them. And Cagliari is just a team that you will have to overcome. Every single game in the league now is a must win.
Yeah.
For you to salvage something out of the season and not take a step back, you have to fight Inter until the last breath. Wait for them to drop points, but you cannot wait for them to drop points with you dropping points.
Yes, true.
Every single game is a must win. When they drop points, just look at, for me, I would look at myself now, focus on myself, get all the wins. And whatever is happening on the background is happening on the background. When they drop points, good for me. If they don't drop points, they take it fair and square, good for them. We rebuild, we start next season to try and win it. But for now, I think 12 games or 13 with the Napoli game. I go there and I win every single one of them. And we only have 3 or 4 really tough games, so it should be done.
Are you optimistic that we can grab 10 Scudetto with this squad?
There's no chance of there's no space for being optimistic now. You have to be a realist. You know, take it game by game. I will not jump into something that will happen 2 months, 2.5 months from now. We have to be very realistic. Every single game, even if we beat Cagliari tomorrow, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And assume that we will do well. No. Let's build step by step. Be realists. Every single game, take it as a challenge. One challenge. So until now, until the end of the season, you have 14 challenges, 13 Serie A games, and the Coppa Italia final.
Yes, true. Okay.
Treat them all as challenges. Be a realist. Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
And if we do that, if we don't drop points, you know what? 6-7 games from now, if we win all the 6 or 7 games coming,
Yeah.
and we'll see how Inter and Milan are doing, maybe you can start being a little bit of an optimist.
That's fair. Okay, Ali, what's your prediction next against Cagliari?
I don't do predictions, man. I don't. That's a dangerous game. A win, but I'm not gonna put a score. We'll win.
Right. Ali, thank you for your time. Thank you to participate in our JSG podcast channel. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
All the best to the Juventus Club of United Arab Emirates. Hope
To you too.
Inshallah, hopefully, all this pandemic will get over soon. Everyone will get back as per normal, and hopefully, one fine day, who knows that we will meet at the stadium, or we will meet in Dubai, or maybe one fine day you will come to Singapore. Who knows? Inshallah, one fine day that things will happen back to normal, and yeah. So, but before we say goodbye to all Juventini out there, don't forget to subscribe on the JSG podcast channel, or to subscribe on the Juventus Club of Singapore YouTube channel, where all the episodes from all other Juventini will be posted there. So stay tuned. Watch out for the next episode every Sunday. Don't forget. And hopefully things will go as planned, and we could celebrate together of winning something at Juventus, as we are part of this big Bianconera family. We will never give up. We will fight till the end, and hopefully everything will go in our way. So,
Fino alla fine.
fino alla fine. Fora Juve. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye, and see you soon. Bye.